For the past 2 years, Notre Dame has been the most dominant team in college lacrosse. They finished the last 2 seasons with a 20-3 record and 2 national championships to show for it. The entire lacrosse world is wondering if they can threepeat in 2025. While I don't have an answer, I can tell you this one thing. Will Donovan is in for a massive season. The Junior LSM finished his 2024 season as a second-team All-American. I can almost guarantee you he throws the most checks in college lacrosse. His constant pestering of his matchup with his elite footwork make him a nightmare for opposing teams. Today I will uncover the secrets of what makes Will Donovan so good. I can promise that if you watch the entire video, you'll get more cause turnovers the next time you play. Let's get into it. In this clip, Donovan shows us how we can use checks to handcuff our matchup into never scoring. Donovan starts at X lined up dead square with his matchup. In this position, he is fine with letting his defender go anyway because they're close to the center of the field. The first thing you have to notice is Donovan's drop step. He plants and runs nearly at his man instead of drop stepping backwards. This lets him make contact earlier and dictate the Dodgers' movements. Donovan wants to drive his man away from the cage to worsen his shooting angle. He overcommits to the top side, but wins the matchup by using his stick. When he loses ground, he extends his stick out and discourages the Dodger from attacking. He can then swat the ball away. Here, Donovan shows us how to strip middies of the ball above the cage. This Denver midi activates out of the box with a ton of open space. Donovan has to get some good speed to keep up. The first thing he does is break down early. He's far from the cage so he can leave this gap of space, which gives him more time to react to the Dodger. Notice how he starts backpedaling extremely early too. He wants to react while moving backward instead of at a standstill. When the Dodger picks a side, I want you to notice Donovan's drop step. It is very deep. Deep drop steps again give you more space from your Dodger, giving you more time to react. Now that they're even and running down the alley, Donovan has the freedom to throw a check. Here he can get a stick on the inside and throw the can opener for the takeaway. Here Donovan shows us how we can use angles to win every matchup at X. Let's start with Donovan's approach. Instead of directly squaring up with his man, Donovan sits on the inside at an angle. To understand this, we have to think about the angles to the goal. The main thing Donovan wants to deny is this direct path. He can do that by sitting in it. This means Donovan is giving up more of this top side. This is okay because it's a longer route to the cage. He also keeps his stick at his hip instead of in front to counteract this. The stick is an extension of his body, giving him a little more comfort in denying the top side. The Dodger splits to the middle, putting Donovan in a foot race with a pick downfield. Now Donovan can either go over or under this pick. With his aggressive play style, he takes the over and jams his man. It's what he does after that I love about his game. When the space is created, the Dodger feels at ease and looses up on his stick protection. This is when Donovan attacks. He throws this one-hand poke, gaining the extra distance to hit his man. Now his man is in retreating position and Donovan continues to attack him. This constant pressure is a staple of his game. We teach you the exact footwork drills to learn constant pressure like this in the G League defensive blueprint. This time Donovan shows us the #1 secret of sliding to the ball. The ball is at X and Donovan is the hot slide with his man on the crease. The first thing I want you to notice is Donovan's stance. This is called a closed stance. Lots of college teams will play off ball like this when the ball is at X. Attackmen are so good at slipping away from the defenders at the college level that defenders need to stare at them. Defenders then have to rely on their goalie's call and a quick glance back to know when to slide. In Donovan's case, he glances back and sees the attackman driving up, so he starts to hedge. Once he sees the attackman roll back, he fully fires out. Notice how firm this decision was. There wasn't a single bit of hesitation. Donovan comes straight in at the hands to prevent the attackman from feeding. The attackman now tries to move away into space. This is where Donovan can capitalize. With the attackman on his heels, Donovan continues to hammer checks at his hands. The attackman gets pushed into the corner of the field and throws a prayer of the pass. Even though this wasn't a turnover, that attackman is nervous to dodge the rest of the game. This time Donovan shows us how our first step can win us a matchup. Donovan lines up with his man in a relatively square stance. Now, most players in this situation would take a deep drop step and try and stay with their man, but Donovan decides to shuffle with his man and then run directly to him. This combination of a shuffle and a shallow drop step lets him meet the Dodger early. When Donovan meets the Dodger early, he can cut off the angle and push him off track. So by using a shallow drop step, he can dictate where the Dodger goes. In general, deep drop steps put you in a reactionary coverage, and shallow ones put you in a dictating position. Still, Donovan loses a little bit of leverage, but can still win the matchup by using a stick. He brings his stick into the V-hole when he loses positioning to discourage the Dodger. It also disrupts his hands and gets him to throw a bad pass. This time Donovan shows us how to win every matchup down the alley. The first thing to notice is his positioning on the approach. He sees that his matchup has a passing-like body language. Because of this, Donovan continues to move into the passing lane with his stick up. When the Dodger cuts back, Donovan immediately gets low and into a defensive position. The midi is taking a wide angle, so Donovan isn't too concerned with making early contact. But when the midi leans in and tries to attack the cage, Donovan jams him off his line through to X. The last part of this clip that I love is how Donovan continues to apply pressure to the midi's bottom hand. These last second pokes and slaps will get you way more cause turnovers than you realize. If you want to get more cause turnovers, the G League defensive blueprint will give you the exact drills to do it. In this clip, Donovan shows us how you can shut down any midi you play against. Donovan starts up in the high alley, and the first thing to notice is his positioning. He is farther down than most players would be. This gives up the top side. He does this because of how confident he is with his stick. If the midi tries to take the top side, Donovan can easily seal him with a barrage of checks. The midi decides to take the alley, giving Donovan great positioning. Donovan is sitting in a slight trail position, which lets him throw these poke checks as they move down the alley without worrying about the rollback. When the midi does roll back, Donovan is there and can seal the top side. In this clip, Donovan shows us how he can win matchups even if we're beat. Donovan is running with his man and gets caught off guard by the quick dodge. The first thing to notice is how his drop step is different. In most of his other coverages, he has a shallow drop step and makes contact early. Here he takes a deep one because he needs time to catch up and react. As they come up at GLE, Donovan is in a heavy trail position, but he can save the matchup. By jamming at the Dodger's back hip, he can send him farther away from the cage. He also throws a last second slap check to the Dodger's bottom hand, sending the shot into the sky. Never give up on a coverage, you can always disrupt the Dodger in some way. Will Donovan's game really comes down to using checks with elite footwork. None of these big checks could work if he didn't first focus on his positioning and his footwork. He's going to have a massive 2025 season along with Notre Dame. If you want to get cause turnovers and highlights of Will Donovan, the G League defensive blueprint will give you the exact drills to dominate. You can click the link on screen or in the description to get yours. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.